Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Melinda and this is Melinda's Life and Style. If you're new here, I do all kinds of stuff, but today what I'm doing is playing around with my sewing machine. I'm going to bring you along with me. And what I'm doing is making some Christmas gifts, and these Christmas gifts are going to be, now let me get back in screen so you can see me. They're going to be bowl cozies. And I have all of my batting cut out, and I have my fabric cut out. And so what we're going to do is, if you want to stick around with me, is I'm going to make some. So I would love to have you join me, ask any questions, and I am going to give you, as I get started, so you'll be able to see a couple of little bits of advice here and there throughout that I've found works a little bit better for me. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make some bowl cozies, and I do it a little bit differently than what I have seen on other videos. So if you're interested, keep watching, and I will turn you down so you can actually see the machine and see me sewing rather than just talking about it. I want you to actually see me doing it. So let's get started. I got a lot of these to make. I'm going to try and make about 50. They really are a great Christmas gift, and it's good. They can be used for lots of different things. Let me get some of this organized out of the way. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is stitch our batting to our fabric. It's 100% cotton batting. It's actually 100% cotton fabric. And I'm going to throw a couple of pins in here. And one of my first tips is to cut your batting just a little bit smaller by about a ½ inch all the way around, so that it doesn't get caught in the seam allowance. And I know a lot of people tend to go from point to point, but basically you're just quilting these two pieces together, getting them stuck together any way that you can. So if you want to do it point to point, that's fine. We can do that. So I'm just going to sew to this corner. Corner to corner. Now the other corner. And batting stretches, if it isn't in the correct place, that's really not a huge deal. this is what we've done. We have our 10-inch square of fabric, and then I have my 9-inch square of batting, and I've just stitched them together in an X pattern. And I would do this for the rest of my stack of fabric and batting until I run out. So let me get those put together. Alright, let's see if you can see this. This is a 10-inch square of plastic. I purchased the plastic at the dollar store. It actually came in 2 sheets. It's their dollar store cutting mats, but it can cut really well with scissors, and it also cuts really well if you have a pair of rotary cutters that you no longer use for your fabric, that maybe they're dull. That's what I have. I did try one of these hole punches that I had, but it was kind of dull, but that's not really a big deal if I turn it this way. So I've made it 10 inches, and the reason that I did that is because the bowl cozies that I make are typically 10 inches, and I have marked my center. If I fold it in half, I have my center lines here, and I have my center lines here. And I have my diagonal lines that you can see that I've already stitched on. But what I'm going to do with my friction marker is, let me see, can you see? No, let me push it down a little bit. So I place my template over my fabric and batting and line it up, and then I can just mark these little cutouts that I have. And then I can make a little dot in here as well. But this is very helpful. I will probably do a little YouTube tutorial on something else that you can do to perhaps get a better punch. I've also got some cardboard that I used, or there's some marine grade vinyl that you can use to do that. But what that does is that gives you, let me see if you can see, that gives you the markings up here where you're going to take your pleat. And the pleat is to give the bowl structure and definition. So all you need to do at that point really is take the two marks and put them together back to back and fold it on that dotted line. There's your dot, then you have your dots here. You can put pins in it and you can get all fancy and things like that, but in the end, you don't really need to. So now I'm going to sew from this dot to this dot. Put my needle down into that dot and sew off to this one. Can you see that? And there's your first pleat. We're going to do that all the way around. So again, I'm bringing my two dots together. And you can even sew from the inside to the outside. Okay, here we go. We have two pieces, two little bowls that are stitched. Now I could take you over to my cutting table, but I can just show you right here too. All you're going to do is cut these off with about a seam allowance of about 1/4 of an inch, just to get rid of some of that bulk. You just want to make sure that you aren't cutting through all of your fabric by taking your time and making sure that everything is out of the way. And that's going to do a lot to reduce some bulk. Clip off your little threads if you want to. You can always save these things put them in a jar and start saving them, and use them as stuffing for dog beds or something like that. There's always something that can be done. Can you see that? So we're cutting off our excess fabric. Everything that we're using is 100% cotton, as I said. The fabric is 100% cotton. The thread is 100% cotton. The batting is 100% cotton with no scrim or anything to hold it together. It is the Wrap and Zap batting that is safe from microwaves. Now what we do is put them wrong sides together, clipping at your points. So we go around and paste them wrong sides together. At your joint, make sure that one is going one way and one intersection is going another way so that they lay flatter. I love these little clips. I got them off of Amazon, and they're just very, very handy. But I'm not going to clip all the way around. It's not that hard to hold the position where you need to go. So we're going to start, but you must leave a little bit of an opening so that you can turn it right side out. So we're going to start doing that. And I use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And can you see? All right, here we go. When you get to that little point, you can leave your needle down and then turn. And I am just using my foot as a guide for where I'm sewing. I don't know if it's quite a 1/4 of an inch. But again, this is not a fiddly kind of a project. Do it and have fun with it. This is something that maybe you could do with some kids. I had my kids making some placemats and stuff for Thanksgiving one year, and that really taught them a lot about how to sew. So even without pins, you can just sort of bring your points together. You're really only sewing is not a nice distance between what your hands can handle. So I'm going to get rid of those little clips. And this is where we're going to leave a little bit of an opening, so we're going to back stitch. But at this point you want to come along and trim your corners to again eliminate any bulk. And if that's not quite lined up, there. Alright, so what we're looking at right now is not looking so great, is it? But we're going to turn it right side out. So let's go to our little opening and very carefully, let's start from one end. Just slowly, slow and steady work the little magic. Because always turning something right side out is magic. There's no rush. As I try to rush. As I said, I was going to give you a little tip since I get this turned right side out and stitched up that I think is very, very helpful. Now I'm just going to use my friction pen again to go in and poke out the corner. And run it along some of the seams. And that thread I will clip. Now we're going to take that little opening that we had, and if you pull on it, your fabric should just automatically go under. This one you might want to put a pin in. And while we're closing this up, we're also going to go around and create our top stitching line to finish it. Get some of these little flyaway threads. First. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to stitch this down at about, let me get my seam guide here to tell you. Probably going to do about 3/8 of an inch. So we'll start right here on the corner. And now I'm using, don't know if you'll be able to see this, but on my sewing machine I was initially using the outer edge as my guide. Now I'm going to use this little inner cutout as my guide. You can use any guide that you want, whatever's comfortable for you, whatever you don't mind following. Again, nothing is set in stone, but except for using 100% cotton everything if it's going in the microwave. Other than that, have some fun. So now what you have is something that won't come apart when you wash it, and from one side, you know, you can follow the lines pretty nicely. If you have to switch it, you know, it wasn't too bad, but it is a bowl cozy. And in the end, it's going to serve a great purpose. Now, some of the variations that I was getting ready to do, and I will do those in another tutorial, lots of different things that you can do. You can sew them right side together, and then you can do a binding around the outside, all the way around the outside in a contrasting color. You could do a piped cording as long as your cording inside is 100% cotton, and then you would have another contrasting color. You can do two-sided. You can quilt in squiggly lines. You can embroider it first as long as you're using 100% cotton. Again, if you aren't concerned that they're going in the microwave, that's not really a concern, and your options have certainly, you have more. But if you are planning on putting it in the microwave with your soup in it so that you can take it out with the handles, then everything has to be 100% cotton. But yes, you can do different bindings, you can do different colors. You could, if you make it, you don't even have to make it a little bit bigger, but if you don't like to have these points, you could always round off the square edges on your template right here and kind of just give it a soft curve. Right here, there are so many different options. If you would like to see different sewing techniques with these bowls, then leave me a comment in the comments section below. If you've made these bowl cozies, tell me what you think. If you've given them away as gifts, did everybody enjoy them? And if you've washed them and had not already seamed them together in the bottom, how did they turn out? Well, that's the one. I have the rest of my stack to go, so I will carry on, and I will see you in my next video. Guys, thanks for watching.